Live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good afternoon, hello, welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm Xander, UVRU. We will be joined by the Golden Moon here shortly. Today is, of course, is it Moon's Day or Tears' Day? I forgot. Tears' Day? Yeah, Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. We have a 37-page document to go through today, so let's once again try to see if we can make it within an hour, but not entirely sure if we can. Starting us off in the year 1124, Tyre surrenders to Crusaders. So the city of Tyre, or Tyre, or whatever, fell to the Venetian Crusade after a siege of 19 weeks. 1438, the Loon joins the show.
Great. We're on in 1498?
38.
38.
So you're off by 60 years.
Yeah, well,
you know, well, like
60 years.
Yeah, to you, nothing. Anyway, 1438, King Charles the Seventh issued the pragmatic sanction of the bourgeois, stating that a general church council with superior power to the Pope must be held every 10 years. Superior power to the Pope? What, God? Like, what's higher than the Pope? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why, I mean, I guess, like, you know, the masses, I mean, the people are always the power, because God's in all of us. So
Could be the king?
No. Nor the emperor. I mean, like, there was actually a whole thing between the Holy Roman Emperor and the Pope, who had more power.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there was.
But before we keep on going here, I just want to show the Loon, and I keep forgetting to post these. This Date in History, chocolate, sliced bread, largest Banzai charge, Roswell, and more. You know?
I love sliced bread.
Yeah. Look at it. It's in the thumbnail, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's chocolate.
That's the old saying, greatest invention since sliced bread.
Yeah. And Betty White, you know, was before sliced bread. Although, unfortunately, she fell to the blade of Her Majesty, the Queen of England, in a Highlander-style battle because there could only be one old lady, but now they're both gone. Anyway, 1456, a retrial verdict, or a retrial verdict, acquitted Joan of Arc of heresy 25 years after her execution and death.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, gee, that's
Didn't
helpful.
really make a big difference, did it?
Is there anything crawling on me? Like, no,
No.
okay.
No,
I swear I felt something. Oh. Anyway, 1498, Emperor Maximilian I ordered appointment of a conductor, 2 bass singers, and 6 choir boys, establishing the Vienna Court Music Ensemble. Later includes Vienna Boys Choir. That's pretty cool. 1520, Hernan Cortez and the Tlaxcalans defeated a numerically superior Aztec force in the Battle of Otumba in Mexico. 1534, as well, European colonization of the Americas. First known exchange between Europeans and natives on the Gulf of St. Lawrence in New Brunswick. Wow. So it says here, Jacques Carter made his first contact with Aboriginal peoples of what is now Canada. It says here he also traded items with Micmacs at Chaleur Bay in New Brunswick. I just wonder if they invented mucklucks and such. So, 1548, Scotland and France concluded the Treaty of Haddington in response to the war known as the Rough Wooing. According to the treaty, 5-year-old Mary Queen of Scots was to marry Dauphine of France. So the Rough Wooing, wow, like that sounds like a struggle snuggle. 1550, traditional date chocolate thought to have been introduced in Europe. So here we go, good old chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
Well, this is milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is just chocolate itself. Like, I have no other images for straight up chocolate. No, like, as I said, like, traditional date chocolate thought to have been introduced in Europe. So there is no picture of it. You know, we have, that's a very small image, so I'm not going to try to read that. Oh, here we go, timeline. 1900 to 500 BC, ancestral Mesoamericans discover how to make chocolate. Let's see here. 250 to 900 AD, Maya love them some chocolate. Okay, so the Maya, they make the hot chocolate and everything. 1300s to 1500s, so did the Aztecs. And they added peppers, so that's hot chocolate. 1500, chocolate comes to Spain, so 1550, 1500s. 1600 to 1800s, chocolate takes over Europe and America. 1847, the first solid chocolate bar was made. Ooh. 1894, Hershey factory opens. And then 2000 to present, Stadian artisans revolutionized chocolate. Strictly speaking, there were probably chalky chocolate tablets before 1847, but nothing resembling a delicious edible bar. Okay, so there's, as with everything, there's a pretty interesting history to chocolate.
Yeah.
1575, the raid of the Regiswire was the last major battle between England and Scotland. I'm going to look that up here really quick, just do a surface level scratch to see if there's a potential link to get raid of the Regiswire. All right, so let's start our underbar, our description section here really quick. So while I'm gathering this link and all other links that we click throughout the show will be in the underbar description below after the live stream as per usual. We already have a lot of cool links down there though, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition, the music in the background you're hearing, the links to this source, several other sources that we use, and a lot of other cool things there. Anyway, 1585, King Henry III and Duc de Guise signed Treaty of Nemours. French Huguenots lost all freedoms. And it's also the Treaty of Nemours abolished tolerance to Protestants in France. So the Huguenots and Protestants, if they're not the same people, I'm not sure, but this was potentially multiple people getting, types of people getting screwed over. Treaty of Nemours, and I just realized that I forgot to read this raid of the Redswire, also known as the Redswire Fray, was a border skirmish between England and Scotland on 7th of July 1575, which took place at Carter Bar, the Cheviot Pass, which entered Redesdale. The skirmish was between the English warden of the Middle Marches, Sir John Foster, with George Heron, keeper of the Redesdale, keeper of the Littlesdale, and Scottish warden and Sir John Chemical. Wow, these are wild names here. So, yeah. Anyway, this is down there. We have the Treaty of Nemours. You're going to say something?
No.
Okay. Well, I wish you were, because then you can fill the time. Then I'm filming myself right now.
Oh, you were prodding me.
I was trying to fill the dead air.
I gotcha.
So, I was actually interested if you were, but it was also going to be beneficial. So, 2 for 1. Anyway, these treaties, they were articles that were agreed upon in writing and signed in Nemours on July 7, 1585, between the Queen Mother, Catherine de Medici, acting for the King, and representatives of the House of Guise, including the Duke of Lorraine. Catherine hastened to Saint-Mard-de-Fosses, where on July 13th, the treaty was signed between King Henry III of France and the leaders of the Catholic League, including Henry, Duke of the Guise, or Duc de Guise. Mm-hmm. The king was pressured by members of the Catholic League to sign the accord, which was recognized by contemporaries as a renewal of the old French wars of religion. So the old, becoming present again. Yeah. The past really does have a, sinister way of mirroring itself.
Yep.
So, 1600, English explorer, John Mendenhall, left Aleppo with a caravan of 600 people bound for Lahore, one of the first Englishmen to reach India overland.
Oh. So,
instead of going by sea, they just travel overland to India.
Yeah.
It is physically connected, just a while.
Yeah.
And I wonder who the first was, if that's even documented, if anybody even knows. That's 426 years ago. 1647, People's Uprising against high prices of Spanish rule in Naples. That's pretty fair there. 1667, an English fleet completed the destruction of a French merchant fleet off Fort Saint-Pierre in Martinique during the Second Anglo-Dutch War. 1 year later, Isaac Newton received his Master of Arts degree from Trinity College in Cambridge. All right. 1713, Handel's De Deum and Jubilate officially premiered in a Thanksgiving service celebrating the Treaty of Utrecht. And, this Treaty of Utrecht pops up every now and then, quite often, actually. What else do we got here? 1753, British Parliament granted Jews the right to apply for citizenship. That's nice. Yeah, good. 1754, King's College in New York City opened, renamed Columbia College. 1768, the firm of Johann Buddenbrook was founded in Thomas Mann's novel. So, in a fictitious work, this is the date when this apparent event happened. Which is pretty cool. I honestly, and I make this a point every time, but, it's pretty cool that they throw things in here like this.
Yeah.
When the freaking, in the Star Trek universe, when the Vulcans were first, discovered or something. It's down somewhere in this primary source, if we haven't covered it already. What else do we got here? 1770. After 3 days of battle around Chesma, the Russian fleet defeated the Ottoman navy, inflicting one of the most severe naval defeats on the Ottoman Empire since Lepanto. I have no idea who Lepanto is, but, okay. 1777, during the American Revolutionary War, The American forces retreating from Fort Ticonderoga. Remember, we covered that yesterday, that they retreated. They were defeated in the Battle of Hubarditon. So on their way out, they got into another battle. That's we really fought tooth and nail in the Revolution, and even in the Civil War, things were looking sketch for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So. 1798, Quasi-War. The U.S. Congress rescinded treaties with France, sparking the war. So other source says, as a result of the XYZ affair, the U.S. Congress rescinded the Treaty of Alliance with France, sparking the Quasi-War. What the heck is any of this? So I'm going to look this up here. The XYZ affair. All right, so we have this, and we have the Quasi-War. So before I read any of these, did you have anything to say by chance?
Not really, other than... I don't understand maybe you're going to tell me what the Quasi-War is. U.S. Congress?
Yeah, no, I'm going to get there. I'm just I was trying to get you to fill the air, so I'm not just doing this. Oh. But anyway, now I'm ready. The XYZ affair was a political and diplomatic episode in 1797 and 1798, early in the presidency of John Adams, involving a confrontation between the United States and Republican France, which led to the Quasi-War. We'll cover the Quasi-War here in a minute. The name derives from the substitution of the letters X, Y, and Z for the names of French diplomats Jean Conrad Hodeger, X, Pierre Bellamy, Y, and Lucien Hardevol, Z. Okay, so they used it as a synonymous for their names. So X, Y, Z, these three people. In documents released by the Adams administration. An American diplomatic commission was sent to France on July 1797 to negotiate a solution to problems that were threatening to break out into war. The diplomats were approached through informal channels by agents of the French foreign minister. Talleyrand demanded bribes and a loan. This is the French minister demanded bribes and a loan before formal negotiations could begin. Although it was widely known that diplomats from other nations had paid bribes to deal with Talleyrand before, or at the time, the Stadians were offended by the demands and eventually left France without ever engaging in formal negotiations. Gary, seeking to avoid all-out war, remained for several months after the other two commissioners left. His exchanges with Talleyrand laid groundwork for the eventual end to diplomatic affairs and the start to military hostilities. So what is this Quasi-War? It was an undeclared war from 1798 to 1800 between the United States and the French First Republic. We fought the French? It was fought almost entirely at sea, primarily in the Caribbean, and off the east coast of the U.S., with minor actions in the Indian Ocean and Mediterranean. Wow. In 1793, Congress unilaterally suspended repayment of French loans from the U.S. Revolutionary War, or the American Revolutionary War, and in 1794 signed the Jay Treaty with Great Britain. I remember covering the Jay Treaty. Then engaged in 1792 to the 1797 War of the First Coalition. I'm getting DMs here. What is all this? Oh, okay, that's candle stuff. What else do we got? Anyway, I can't keep reading all this. This is incredible though, very interesting.
For how the French helped us, we're not doing them any favors, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
without them, we wouldn't have won the war against England.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you're right. But.
And this is,
But I mean,
20 years later. But
it's still not that we didn't pay them. Probably we couldn't.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
I mean, we had a massive war debt immediately after. I mean, we just fought for our independence.
Yeah.
How do you expect to pay off when you just started being a country? So there was immediate tax, but there was representation, of course, because that was the whole point. Taxation without representation. Yeah. Well, they didn't like the taxation part, but at least they got representation, and people understood, you got to pay the war debt, but if you can't, you can't, So, I mean, there's all sorts of things. Anyway, 1799, Ranjit Singh's men took up their positions outside Lahore. It's telling me to look that up, but I don't have the time to look up anything else right now. We also have 1801, Toussaint Louverture declared Haitian independence. Okay. 1802, first comic book, The Wasp, was published in Hudson, New York, criticizing Republican politicians. That's hilarious. So it shows here The Wasp, and I thought, I have a comic here, Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp and everything, and that is one of the characters. Right here you have the Wasp.
Yeah.
There she is, but that's Ant-Man. But this is something completely different, I think. The Wasp, featuring crime's greatest enemy in the spy ring case.
Well, as old as this thing is, it's got to be older.
1802, yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
It's Ant-Man.
Well, it's nothing to do with Marvel, but Marvel like they stole so many things. Like Deadpool is a ripoff of Deathstroke from DC. Don't remember who Wolverine is a ripoff of. But there's other examples that don't come off the top of my head. But Marvel, like it's very fitting that they're owned by Disney because Disney are the biggest plagiarists in all of history. So. Anyway, 1807, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte and Russian Tsar Alexander I met on a raft in the middle of the Niemen River and signed the first Treaty of Tilsit. Now, apparently this was a big thing. Oh, there's chocolate. This was something else. I forgot what this was. That was XYZ affair.
Oh, okay.
It's some political cartoon. I don't know what's going on.
But what's the deal on a raft? I don't think they mean on a...
No, they do mean on a raft. Like, they actually, like, met on a raft. Like, this is actual... artist renditioning. There was they built a thing. It wasn't a tinky little raft. They put a tent thing on there. Yeah. So it was more of like a barge, if anything.
I wonder what the point of that was.
Some politic thing, but here it even shows them doing the cheek kiss thing. It looks like. Yeah. But we have an image here, and we have Napoleon with his big ass freaking hat. And he's it looks like he's trying to force himself on Tsar Alexander. So it must have been, because we have several, here's that image right there again, but we have several, examples of this as political cartoons. Like, this is another, appears to be like a satire thing, So, and look at this, what's this? Like back in that time, that kind of thing is was not looked upon well, so I just wonder what's with these takes, what's going on, I'd like to understand the political meaning. 1834 in New York City, 4 nights of rioting against abolitionists began. Against abolitionists. What the heck? 1838 Central American Federation was dissolved. I'm going to look this up here really quick. Central American Federal Republic of Central America, 1838. Well, it says this lasts until 1839 to 1841, so maybe this is not the same thing, or maybe this is wrong in 1838. I'm not sure. 1846, U.S. troops occupied Monterey and Yerba Buena, thus beginning the U.S. conquest of California. Yeah, Yerba Buena, as you might not remember, later became, I believe, at San Francisco. So, 1862, Land Grant Act endowed state colleges with federal land. 1863, orders barring Jews from serving under U.S. General Ulysses S. Grant were revoked. So, they can serve under him now.
Good.
Cool. 1863 as well, the United States began its first military draft. Exemptions cost $300. Oh, are you kidding me? So, you can buy your way out. That is bullshit. Yeah. But, let's see, 1863, $300 in 2026. What do you think it'll be? Like, what's the inflation rate?
I'm gonna say for $4,500.
$4,500? Okay, let's see here. Close, $7,979.12.
Still low.
Yeah, well, you're at least not off by $1 million.
Well, no, but we're not in those kind of numbers.
No, true. No. What else do we got here? 1865, Mary Stuart, Lewis Powell, David Harold, and George Azertot were executed for their role in the conspiracy to assassinate U.S. President Abraham Lincoln. Okay, well, if they actually were guilty, then good. I hope they swung. 1868, Surrey wicketkeeper Ted Pooley completed a then first-class cricket record, 12 dismissals, 8 caught, 4 stumped, in a county match against Sussex at the Oval. I'm sure it's hell. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it's hell stumped too. 1875, Jesse James gang robbed a train in Otterville, Missouri, but of how much? I'd like to know.
Yeah.
1876, we have the Hamburg Massacre. White farmers attacked a black militia in Hamburg, South Carolina, with 7 killed. Now, why was there a black militia? Were they on their way to kill a whole bunch of white people?
Doubtful.
But then why was there a black militia?
I don't know. I don't know the story behind it.
That's kind of weird. I mean, unless a militia formed when they realized the white farmers were coming, but then that's a pretty quick forming, I don't know. I think this is trying to cover something. I'm not sure. What else we got here? 1891, Marcellus F. Berry, a American Express employee, was granted 4 copyrights for what he called the Traveler's Check. Now, this alludes to the concept that his employer can lay claim to his employee's creation, which, what's his face, Thomas Edison absolutely did. Like anything that was invented under his umbrella, like none of the actual inventors, freaking you think what's his face, Steve Jobs invented the iPhone? No, even he pushed people, to the brink of insanity to invent these things, and then he lays claim. Yeah, sure, I'm sure it's on some document somewhere, the no-name guy who actually did the work and built the dang thing, but to the masses, everybody thinks it's Steve Jobs. Nobody knows the schmuck who's just working day by day, who actually does the work. He's a drill supervisor.
Well, the reason why they do, the company paid those people to work and develop those things, so the company gets credit, or Steve Jobs. Yeah, that's the way it works. If you did it in your own garage, then it would be yours.
You can't do it because you don't have the capital.
Yeah, I know. I know that.
So people with no money don't deserve recognition. That's kind of bullshit.
Well, recognition's fine, but it is owned by the corporation because they paid you to figure that out.
You should at least get credit somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, 1892, Katipunan, the revolutionary Philippine Brotherhood, was established, leading to the fall of the Spanish Empire in Asia. And you know what? That just made me think. How about that for an IOYO topic?
Yeah.
If someone invents something under the employment of a company, do they have rights to credit or only company? Question mark. That's a basic start to that question, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could be worded more eloquently, but
that's fine. No.
Yeah. Anyway, we also have 1898. Let's see here. U.S. President William McKinley signed the Newlands Resolution to annex Hawaii after Congress passed it as a joint resolution. So yeah, here we go. Annexing Hawaii as a territory of the United States. Mm-hmm. In 1900, Boston Bean Eaters pitcher Kid Nichols notched his 300th career MLB victory with an 11-4 win over Chicago Orphans. That's a terrible name.
Chicago Orphans?
What the hell?
Holy crap.
Yikes. 900 as well, the luxury racing yacht Idler capsized and sunk on Lake Erie during a storm, drowning 6 of its 7 passengers.
Man.
All of them were members of the family of Cleveland businessman James C. Corrigan. Yikes, that's terrible.
So one survived.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess in this case, having money ultimately killed his family. Because if he wasn't that successful, didn't buy that yacht, they wouldn't have been out there. So maybe there should be a lesson to all these wealthy people. Stop flaunting your money.
Or maybe he wasn't wealthy enough where he could have bought a better yacht that doesn't sink.
I don't like that path. 905, 127 degrees Fahrenheit or 53 Celsius in Parker, Arizona, state record until 1994. Wow.
Parker.
127.
That's where the bridge is, the London Bridge.
Oh, okay. 907, Florence.
I think I may be mistaken. It's in Arizona.
Where is the London Bridge, Arizona? London Bridge, Lake Havasu City.
Lake Havasu, not
okay. All right. Well, we figured it out. 907, Florence Ziegfeld Jr. staged his first Follies on the roof of the New York Theater in New York City. Follies? What does that mean?
Follies is,
Ziegfeld Follies.
Yeah, there's Ziegfeld Follies. It's girl dancers and, all this.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he, kind of like vaudeville, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On the roof. Okay. Whatever. You do you, man. 908, the Democratic Party met in Denver at the start of their convention. William Jennings Bryan was nominated as presidential nominee, and he ended up being the Secretary of State. But why is his name so familiar? He was serving under Woodrow Wilson. Okay, it's probably for a bad reason why I remember his name. 1908, the U.S. Navy's Great White Fleet left San Francisco Bay, and we have an image of that.
Ooh.
So, artist rendition of the Great White Fleet. We've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of battleships, cruisers, all sorts of ships, and they're all painted white. Hence the name Great White Fleet. And they just circumnavigated the entire planet. Just flex on everybody. Oh, look at our big boats.
They want to intimidate.
No, not intimidate. Just, it's a show both for allies and enemies alike. Hey, if you're our friends, we're good friends. If you're not our friends,
That's
you might want to become our friends.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can say intimidation, and I'm not going to disagree. But I view it more of as a giant flex. 1911, the United States, UK, Japan, and Russia signed the North Pacific Fur Seal Convention of 1911, banning open water seal hunting, the first international treaty to address wildlife preservation issues.
Yeah, good.
Excellent. 1912, Canadian athlete Jim Thorpe won 4 of 5 events to win the pentathlon gold medal at the Stockholm Olympics. His medal was later stripped in 1913 because he played pro baseball and reinstated in 1982. Well, gee, that helps him. He's already dead by then, right? 82? Oh, he was long gone. 53?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's terrible. 14, Baltimore Orioles owner Jack Dunn offered future Baseball Hall of Fame, future baseball legend Babe Ruth, Ernie Shore, and Ben Egan for $10,000 to $10,000 to Connie Mack. Philadelphia A's refused pleading pleading a lack of finance.
Couldn't afford them.
Yep. 1 year later, a Great Gorge and International Railway trolley with an extreme overload of 157 passengers crashed near Queenstown in Ontario, killing 15. That's unfortunate there. Colombo Town Guard officer Henry Pedris was executed in British Ceylon for allegedly inciting persecution of Muslims. 1916, the New Zealand Labour Party was founded and formed in Wellington. 1919, Philadelphia Phillies tied MLB record of 8 steals in an inning, ninth inning, and a 10-5 loss versus the New York Giants. 1923, Cleveland Indians set an American League record 27 runs, including 13 in the 6-27-3 win versus Boston Red Sox, 27-3. That is quite a big difference there. University of Delaware University of Delaware invented junior year abroad at Sorbonne. So it's like an exchange program.
I have no idea what that means.
I'm going to look that up here really quick. It sounds like an exchange program. Okay, well, it's not telling me anything right off the bat, so that's going to require some digging. Well, it says here, according to AI, sending students to the Sorbonne in France, marking the inception of the junior year abroad concept. Well, that sounds like, exchange student type
exactly
thing.
What I was going to say.
27, BBC's first disc jockey, Christopher Stone, began playing records on the air. So a disc jockey. Yeah. 28, sliced bread sold for the first time by the Chillicothe Baking Company in Missouri using a machine invented by Otto Frederick Rawweiler, described as the greatest forward step in the baking industry since bread was wrapped. And this was also his 48th birthday. Yeah, birthday July 7th, 1880. So 28, he was 48 today when this happened. That's an awesome birthday present.
Yeah.
It's telling me to image search this, and I do have an image of this right there. There he is.
There we go.
Holding the sliced bread. Look at that. It's tied together with a string. We got some sliced bread at the market earlier today.
Yes, we did.
Thank you, Mr. Rawweather, for your marvelous invention. Yeah. I wish I knew that. I did. I wish I remembered that when we went to the market. When she was checking out. Yeah, today's the day, in 1928. Sliced bread was sold for the first time. It was invented before, the machine and everything.
Yeah.
But this is when it was actually everything's done, and now it's being sold. But yeah, that's awesome. 29, Romania and the Vatican signed a Concord. I'm going to do a surface level scratch of the article really quick. The Lateran Treaty, 29. Okay, yeah, that looks about right. No, it was signed February 11th. Today is not February 11th. So this is a different Concord, so never mind to that. 1930, construction began on the Boulder Dam by industrialist Henry J. Kaiser, now known as the Hoover Dam. And there's an image of it under construction. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So, hold on a second. Let me get that one. There we go. I want to show you more images because there are several images here, but you wouldn't even know what these are in the context.
True.
But that appears to be one of those overflow things on the side.
Well, yeah, they diverted the river so they could build the dam.
Well, yes, but also if the water level is too high, they can straight up dump it right here. You see?
Yeah, and then eventually become an overflow. But that was a diversion initially.
I guess so. Yeah. But I don't even know what the heck that is. It's just a wall.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, look at all the different layers. Like, it's fascinating.
Yeah, and they had to pour it that way so it cured.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen a whole deal on it before.
Isn't it said, like, there's still sections that are still drying, like, deep in the middle? Like, they're still drying to this day. 1930, the Finnish far-right Lapua movement organized the Peasant March demonstration in Helsinki to put pressure on the government to prohibit communist activities. 36, Canadian businessman Henry F. Phillips, does that name sound familiar?
Mm-mm.
Well, it will. Received a patent for a new cross-recessed screw, and the new screwdriver needed to make it work.
Phillips,
the Phillips screwdriver.
Yeah.
You know, it's a screw and a screwdriver.
Yeah.
So, he invented both. I mean, it makes sense. You kind of have to.
You have to have.
Yeah. Now everybody has their own stupid proprietary things. It's so ridiculous. So that way, only them, can repair it, and they get the money. 1936, RCA broadcasts the first real TV program, a variety show with dancing, a film on locomotives, a Bonwit Teller fashion show, and a monologue from Tobacco Road. Yeah. And I have a treat for you. The RCA presents its first television program July 7, 1936. I found it!
Wow.
Hold on a second. Let me refresh the page because the bottom part. There we go. Oh. Dude, I found it.
That's amazing.
See, this was part of a demonstration of RCA Television to an assembled group of its licenses who viewed the program on the screens of a number of television receivers. This is the first television broadcast out there, everybody.
Wow. That's amazing.
My mind's getting blown. 1936.
Yeah.
90 years ago. On this day.
Yeah.
Wow. This is 90-year-old video, people. First TV broadcast. I'm going to throw this in, but I'm going to watch the rest of this for sure after the show. I'm just going to move that there. We can get rid of that. We'll get to that here in a minute. 1937, Japanese and Chinese troops clashed at the Marco Polo Bridge near Beijing, beginning the Second Sino-Japanese War. They found each other. Marco Polo.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Marco Polo Bridge incident, Lugao Bridge, provided the Imperial Japanese Navy with a pretext for starting the Second Sino-Japanese War, the China-Japan War. We also have the Peel Commission report recommended the partition of Palestine, which was the first formal recommendation for partition in the history of Palestine. A lot of people don't realize this, and between that and the Balfour Declaration, which wanted back in 1917 the establishment of a Jewish homeland in the country of Palestine, and since 1917, and then later the Holocaust happened, and it was used to get world support, for that to happen. And a lot of people don't even realize that Hitler wanted to do something like that. He wanted all the Jews out of Europe. He wanted them in Madagascar or something. So the existence of Israel makes Hitler win in a sense, which really, makes me want to throw up. So, Mom's time. I'm going to read this one here first. U.S. forces landed in Iceland to forestall a Nazi invasion. So the U.S. occupation, the U.S. occupation of Iceland replaced the U.K.'s occupation. So, okay. But then...
the geographic location, that's really important.
Oh, yeah. This one's terrible, but I didn't want to open up Mom's time with this. Nazis executed 5,000 Jews in and around Kovano, Lithuania, over the course of a week.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Then we also have, during World War II, Beirut was occupied by Free French and British troops, so that's another good one there. Moving on up to 1942, baseball military all-star team, including Bob Feller, lost to the American League All-Stars 5-0. Well, I mean, soldiers aren't professional athletes, They're soldiers.
Bob Feller certainly was.
Yeah, he was, but his team, he was carrying them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he tried to. I mean, they're versing the American League All-Stars, so of course the Army's going to lose.
Yeah.
42, Germany troop march into Worosendenge. Germany troop, what the hell? Okay. 42 as well. First legal New Jersey horse race in 50 years. Garden State Park track opened in Delaware Township, now Cherry Hill. 43, third day of the Battle of Kursk in USSR. Operation Citadel, Germans occupied Dubrova. Luftwaffe Fighter A shot down 7 Russian aircraft. That's a lot in one day. 44, Heavy Japanese counteroffensive in Saipan. We have the largest Banzai charge of the Pacific War at the Battle of Saipan. And you know what a Banzai charge is, right?
Yeah.
So, Banzai charge, just in case if anybody doesn't know what a Banzai charge is. Let's see here. I'm gonna add this in the underbar section really quick. So, to copy and paste and do that. And get rid of that. Go back down there and read this. It is a term that was used by the Allied forces of World War... What? Oh, okay. Yeah, we called it that. Okay. The Allied forces of World War II to refer to the Japanese human wave attacks and swarming staged by infantry units. Essentially, they Zerg rushed us. The team, literally, this term came from the Japanese battle cry, Tennoheika Banzai, meaning long live His Majesty the Emperor, and was shortened to Banzai, specifically referring to the bayonet charge tactic used by the Imperial Japanese Army during the Pacific War. This tactic was used when the Japanese commanders of infantry battalions foresaw that the battle was about to be lost, and as a last-ditch effort in thwarting Allied forces. They were not going to surrender. They were radicalized. They were, and the numbers didn't lie. And then, we later discovered that one guy 20 years later, living by himself and all that stuff, and he refused to surrender.
Philippines, I believe it was, wasn't it?
What?
Wasn't he in the Philippines?
Somewhere, I don't know. He refused to surrender, and they talked him down enough for him to demand his immediate CO to stand him down. And thank God he was still alive, and they got him to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And then he stood down and everything. But these people were ruthless, And so, they would just throw themselves, literally, how a lot of people play video games. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna run in the meat grinder, ha 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 ha. People actually did that, and it's crazy. So, what else do we got here? 1944, RAF Bomber Command drops 2,572 tons of bombs on Caen in France, and that's in Normandy, and everything, trying to soften it up to take it. Loons time. 1946, Mother Frances Xavier Cabrini, Catholic nun, missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, was canonized as the first Stadian saint. All right. That's a great, Loons time there.
Yeah.
46 as well, Howard Hughes nearly died when his XF-11 reconnaissance aircraft prototype crashed in the Beverly Hills neighborhood. And there's actually a scene from The Aviator.
Yeah.
I saw this earlier today, but, this is... I don't think it was this crazy, but, this was so... nuts. He's just getting thrown around in the cab and freaking running over someone's roof and freaking bisecting the house and everything. It was crazy, just covered in blood. And apparently he was, his ribs were pulverized, not broken, just pulverized. Wow. Lung collapse. The heart apparently moved to the right side of his chest. Ooh. He really did nearly die. And I gotta watch this movie, The Aviator.
Sounds like, I saw it years and years ago, but it was.
Yeah. Yep. 47, alleged and disputed Roswell, New Mexico UFO incident. Here we go. So, we all know about Roswell and everything. And what's interesting is that they first came out in the news, about, blah, 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 it's a UFO, it's, blah, 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 bodies discovered, everything. But then, just several hours after that, the whole story changed. It was swamp gas, it was this, it was that. This guy changed his story, this guy from the military changed their story. It was very weird. 48, Cleveland Indians stunned MLB by signing 42-year-old veteran Negro Leagues pitcher Satchel Paige. Ooh, smart move, dude. Satchel Paige, a great guy. Great sportsman for the baseball. 48, as well, 6 female reservists became the first women sworn into the regular U.S. Navy. Awesome. 49, Dragnet premiered on NBC Radio. Also became a TV series in 51 and in 67.
I remember Dragnet.
Oh, nice.
Sergeant Friday.
Okay.
From the L.A. Police.
Was there a Lieutenant Monday?
He had a sidekick, and I can't remember what his...
Captain Saturday? Was he a superhero? Captain Saturday!
Dragnet.
Yeah. What was that?
Da-da-da. That was part of the deal.
Da-da-da. Okay. 1950, first Farnborough Air Show was held. Now, hold on a second. Dragnet theme. Now I'm interested. Dragnet. Okay, here we go. What does this sound like?
That's it.
This one. We all know know that
on
tune.
Friday, 40 to 15. Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that tune. I didn't know it was from this. Okay, that's what you're going on. Good thing I was curious. What else do we got here? 50, during the Korean War, UN Secretary Council established the United Nations Command to combat North Korean forces. 52, on her maiden voyage, a Stadian ocean liner, the SS United States, crossed the Atlantic Ocean in a record time of 82 hours, 40 minutes, arriving at Bishop Rock off Cornwall, England. She continued to hold the coveted maritime blue ribbon. And, you know, this is a really cool picture. Look at her pulling in with all the tugboats. I mean, like it's a battleship flotilla, you know?
Well, the thing is huge.
Yeah. But I think they're selling because you have a fireboat, but they're just spraying straight up. So I think this is a whole, there's a whole boat parade or something. This is an awesome photo. Oh. What else do we got here? 1953, Ernesto Che Guevara set out on a trip through Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador. World tour there. 54, British runner Jim Peters, 17 minutes ahead of any rival, collapsed on the final stadium lap of the Commonwealth Games marathon in Vancouver. That's unfortunate.
That's the one I think is coming to the... his legs are hardly working. And he's walking like this, trying to get to the... If that's the one I'm thinking... If that's the race I'm thinking about.
That sounds heartbreaking. I kind of don't want to see this, but I'm going to... Okay, hold on a second. Jim Peters, 54... Jim Peters. Let's see if this brings anything. Yeah, this is 1954. Okay.
Well, you're seeing the beginning. It's got to be the end.
Yeah.
And it may not be it.
And in he comes to break the tape. It's a record, all right. In fact, a world record.
Okay. Oh, here's his collapse. Here it is.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
Where is it? Right here. Trying to find his. Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is not doing it. Dude, somebody needs to go get him.
His body's spent.
Dude, somebody needs to go get him right now.
He doesn't want anybody to touch him.
I don't care what he wants. He's going to the freaking hospital, dude. He's gonna die. That's horrifying. Yikes. 54, formation of the TANU Party, the Tanganyika African National Union in Tanzania. Okay. 56, Hancock's Half Hour premiered as a TV show starring Tony Hancock and Sid James, written by Ray Galton and Alan Simpson. Does that ring any bells to you?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna. That's why I marked it. I wasn't sure if you'd remember that, if you even saw it. 57, 20-year-old Prince Karim succeeded as Aga Khan the Fourth, the new Nizari Imam, after the will of his grandfather Aga Khan the Third, bypassed his father Prince Ali Khan, another Khan. 58, England cricket batsman Arthur Milton scored an unbeaten 104 in his Test debut, drawn third Test versus New Zealand at Headingley. 58, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Alaska Statehood Act, granting Alaska statehood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, which is pretty interesting because remember back on the 4th, or when was it? The 4th or the 5th? When there was well, we mentioned the law saying that the new flag with the new star wasn't unveiled until the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So they missed it by 3 days. So they have to wait 362 days before they can unveil the flag with the Alaska star. Like,
doesn't make much sense, does it?
Well, I mean, but like, if you just unveil it, it kind of like because unveiling it on the 4th, you know, like it adds that little bit of, you know.
But it's not worth it. Kind of anticlimactic a year later.
Yeah, but
I don't think he can wait.
I don't know.
I don't know what they did, but I don't think he can wait.
Well, I think we talked about when they released a flag.
I think we talked about the Hawaiian one, though, didn't we?
I think so. Oh. 58, William Shea outlined plans for a $12 million stadium at Flushing Meadows, New York, paid for by tax dollars, probably. 59, Venus occults the star Regulus. This rare event was used to determine the diameter of Venus and the structure of the Venusian atmosphere. Well, how do we know the diameter of Venus as compared to the diameter of a star? How do we know the diameter of the star correctly? Like, you know, how do we know anything? Like, it's all just light bouncing off and getting gravitationally warped in the vacuum of space. How do we know anything? You know? Even if that's even real. 1960, U.S. cemetery officially opened at Margata, Netherlands, and the USSR shot down a U.S. aircraft over the Barents Sea, and that's not good. 61, the Portuguese cargo ship Save ran aground off the coast of Quelimane in Mozambique after an onboard fire, exploding 2 days later. That's a horrible name for that ship then. It didn't save shit. It ran aground and exploded. Well, no, it ran aground, caught fire, and then exploded. Like, what more could it have been doing to make the situation worse? 62, the stripper, an instrumental single by trombonist David Rose and his orchestra, went to #1 in the U.S. Okay. 63, Buddhist Crisis Police, commanded by Ngo Dien Nhu, brother of Chief Political Advisor of South Vietnam President, or brother and Chief Political Advisor of South Vietnam President, Ngo Dien Diem, attacked a group of stadium journalists who were covering a protest. That's not good. 65, Otis Redding recorded the song Respect at Stax Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. It later became a signature piece for Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, R-S-E-C.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
66, Obscenity Ban for Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs, overturned by the Massachusetts Supreme Court after testimony by Allen Ginsberg and Norman Mailer. 67, EMI Parlophone released the Beatles single All You Need Is Love. Da, 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 da. In the UK, it had been introduced to a global audience as part of the BBC's Our World television broadcast 12 days earlier. So people already heard it. 68, British rock group Yardbirds disbanded. Guitarist Jimmy Page recruited new members to fill the concert commitments. The new group evolved into the Led Zeppelin. Yeah, and you know, I know, but let the viewers know about the history of that word. Why were they called Led Zeppelin?
Well, they were this is what I understand. I haven't documented this, but my understanding is they're in the recording studio trying to make new music and all this stuff. And one of the guys, technicians in the studio, one of them said, "This is going to go over like a lead balloon."
Yeah. Now that is folklore. I heard that before you told me, so it's not something you made up or you heard.
No, I didn't make it up.
Well, it's something you. It's folklore. You know, it's pretty cool.
Now the Yardbirds,
yeah,
had 3 of the all-time greatest guitarists. Individually, one left, another came in. That one left, another one came in. 3 of the greatest all-time guitarists were in the Yardbirds.
Names?
Oh.
So great you can't remember their names.
Yeah. Well, Page is one of them. I think he was the last one. But the first one was...
Jimi Hendrix?
No. Oh, what's his name?
And you said Yardbirds, right?
Yeah.
We have the technology. List of Yardbirds members. Okay, well, let's see here.
The first one was the one best known.
Lead guitarist Anthony Topham, no. Chris Deha, Paul Samuel Smith, Jim McCarty, Eric Clapton. I know Eric Clapton.
He was the original guitarist.
Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck. Those are the 3 guitarists.
All right. Nice.
Really
Eric
great
Clapton
guitarist.
was part of them. That's cool. Even I know about him. Oh. What else do we got here? 1969, Canada's House of Commons approved equality of French-English language. All right. We also have German newspaper Der Spiegel revealed Bishop de Frieger of Munich is a war criminal. All right, that's pretty steep charge there. The Beatles began recording George Harrison's song "Here Comes the Sun." Here comes the sun.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. At EMI Studios in London, John Lennon was absent and did not contribute to the track. It almost sounds like he did it out of spite, the way they wrote that. I don't know. 71, MLB Commissioner Bowie Kuhn announced that Negro League players elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame to be given full membership in the museum. Hell yes!
Right, yeah.
Hell yes!
Absolutely.
Dude, freaking awesome. 72, the first woman FBI agents were sworn in, Susan Lynn Rowley and Joanne E. Pierce. Excellent. 7 people were killed in separate incidents across Northern Ireland. You know, like people want to be free. Dutch Minister of ACT decided to ignore soft drug usage. Okay, ACT, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, so 72 as well. Gary Adams joined an IRA delegation for secret talks in London, with the British government. Lisbon's in freaking Australia. What the hell? I think. No, Lisbon's in Portugal, right? I don't know. I'm stupid.
I don't know either.
You know what? We have the technology. Lisbon. Hold on. Let me look this up here really quick. Where is Lisbon? I'm going to say Portugal.
New York.
It is Portugal.
Good
it's
pull.
the capital of Portugal.
There you go. Good pull.
Yeah, New York, the state. Is it the state or the city?
Yeah.
Is it a borough? 73, 78 drowned in a flash flood, or as a flash flood sweeps a bus into a river in India. Yikes. 73 as well. All women on board of directors took control of ABA's Kentucky Colonels. I'm not sure if that's a bad or a good thing.
I'm looking at it as ABBA, the music group, but that's not it.
Isn't that a double B? Like a,
so, yeah, something like that.
So, like this is like American Baseball Association, Kentucky Colonels. So the board of directors.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You know, I'm gonna look this up here. It sounds like baseball. All women board of directors. Here we go. What is this right here? Kentucky Colonels. History was made when an all-women board of directors took control of the ABA's Kentucky Colonels.
ABA is basketball.
The significant event marked a turning point in gender equality and shattered glass ceilings in the world of professional sports. American Basketball Association.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So.
It folded, and then they took the profitable teams that could afford to get into the NBA because it cost them to get in. So they took them, the profitable ones that could afford to get in. They brought them into the NBA.
Okay, so 1967, the ABA was formed. 1973, all women board of directors took control of the ABA Colonels, at least.
Yeah.
And then the entire association folded 3 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it folded, but some of the teams
survived
by going in.
Yeah.
And then the NBA had a draft to draft all the players from the ABA that they wanted.
Yeah. 73, Shoelace Park in the Bronx was named. And the reason why, like I looked ahead, I was trying to find thumbnails and everything, but it's a long, thin park, hence the word named Shoelace.
Ah, that makes sense. And where's it at?
In the Bronx.
Ah, okay.
So, but yeah, like it's a very beautiful looking park.
Yeah.
You know.
There it is, a long.
Yeah.
A walking park.
Reminds me a lot of ours. Don't name it, but
No,
the one over by the river.
Yeah.
Like that's a shoelace type park.
Really long, but it's a huge park, so it's relatively wide, but not compared to the length.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
though,
really
little plate. No, that's not the road street. That's a bike path.
Yeah.
So this is all part of the park. It looks narrower than it actually is.
Yeah, probably right.
So, but it's not as wide as ours. Anyway, what else we got here? 1974, Milwaukee's Don Money set MLB record for consecutive errorless games at third base, 78. And Brewers' 8-5 win versus Twins. That's a lot. 74, 78 games per errorless. Damn good.
Yeah.
New Zealand imposed a blanket ban on sports teams from South Africa because of apartheid. 75, the TV soap opera Ryan's Hope premiered. Do you remember this at all? Ryan's Hope?
No.
Soap opera? I mean, you're not a soap opera type of person,
No,
I would
wouldn't
imagine.
remember that at all. I've never watched any of them.
I mean, maybe Mom knew it. I don't know.
Maybe. I know, like, As the World Turns, like you said, others of the huge ones that have been. I've heard of them, but that's it.
Yeah, Days of Our Lives.
There you go, like stuff like that.
76, 119 women joined the Corps of Cadets, establishing the first class of women of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Cool.
Yeah.
Lieutenant General Vernon A. Walters ended his term as deputy. I don't need to read that one. 77, The Spy Who Loved Me, 10th James Bond film starring Roger Moore and Barbara Bach, premiered in London. 77 as well. 12,000 police occupy university in Mexico City. What is going on there? That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
78, the NBA approved franchise swap. Buffalo Braves owner John Y. Brown and Harry Manigrian acquired Boston Celtics, while the Celtics owner Irv Levin got the Braves, later moved to San Diego to become the Clippers. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a swap going on.
Apparently
especially
there was.
for the Celtics.
Yeah. 78, the Solomon Islands declared independence from the United Kingdom, and they became independent. That's a big difference. They get declared after becoming it, or they could declare it to become it.
Yeah.
You know? But apparently they became independent, so it was a mutual thing. I guess the United Kingdom got tired of when they lost America and then India. They're just like, you know what, let's just let things slip here. 80, institution of Sharia law in Iran. Yikes. 80 as well, Jim King completed his marathon ride of the Miracle Strip roller coaster in Panama City Beach, Florida, after 368 hours, setting an endurance record. Yeah, I remember when we spoke about when he started. 1980, the original lineup of British rock band Led Zeppelin unknowingly performs its final show at the Festspiel in West Berlin, West Germany. Drummer John Bonham died in September. Yikes. So that's
unknowingly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the drummer died in the future.
Yeah.
So. We also have the Saffron Massacre in Lebanon took place during the Lebanese Civil War. 83 Tiger militants were killed during what will be known as the Saffron Massacre. 81, Sandra Day O'Connor was nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court by President Ronald Reagan, becoming the first female Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Cool. It's really cool. Solar-powered aircraft Solar Challenger successfully completed a 163-mile flight across the English Channel. So let's take it. We've looked at this aircraft before, So
big long wings. Is that the one?
No, that was a solar-powered one.
Yeah.
This does have solar power, but you're thinking of that really big one. This is something else. Holy crap! That's very long wing. That's something else. So
I've never seen that.
Huh. Okay, now we're getting into concepts. Look at that thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is what you're thinking of, right?
No.
Well, that's what I thought you were thinking of. Yeah, that's...
Wow.
I know. There's a lot of weird things out there. What else we got here? 1981, England cricket captain Ian Botham resigned after no wins in 12 matches under his reign and a pair in the second test versus Australia at Lord's. Yeah, he apparently sucked. English athlete David Moorcraft defeated Kenyan Henry Rono's 5,000 meter world record by nearly 5 seconds. 13 minutes, 0 seconds, and 0.41 seconds in Oslo, Norway. Or I guess 13:00:41. Like I don't know how to read this. Where is it? This is 82. Right here. I guess is that 13 minutes? 5,000 meters. 13 minutes seems a lot though. 5,000 meters. Like is that a mile?
Well, I think it's more than a mile.
Okay. Well, if it's more than a mile, then it can't be 13 seconds.
Yeah.
13 minutes though. You can do a 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to read this. 83, 11-year-old Samantha Smith of Manchester, Maine, left for the USSR because she was a U.S. schoolgirl. She flew to the Soviet Union at the invitation of Secretary General Yuri Andropov. Remember, she's the one who sent the letter.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Like
I don't remember any of this.
She sent some letter to the Soviet Union, and then she got invited.
Oh.
Like,
I wonder what she said in the letter.
Hold on a second.
Got her invited.
Samantha Smith letter. Let's see if I can. Well, it's just going to show me the same thing. When Yuri Andropov succeeded Leonid Brezhnev as leader of the Soviet Union in November of 1982, the mainstream Western newspapers and magazines ran numerous front-page photographs and articles about him. Yada yada yada. Let's see here. Was it at the time large? Why is it not telling me about what she did?
Is that the letter on the right side?
No, that's just a signature.
Oh.
Okay. It says somewhere here. I don't know. I'm trying to scan this. But she sent a letter. Oh, here it is. Right here. Maybe a couple letters. I don't know. But I'm gonna throw this in the underbar if anybody wants to look at Samantha Smith. If anybody wants to actually find the exact what happened and tell us in the comment section, that'd be wonderful. We have no comments on YouTube, any on Rumble. Nope. All right, moving on up. What else do we got here? 1985, Boris Becker became the youngest male player ever to win Wimbledon at the age of 17. 86, IBM. 86, Stadium athlete Jackie Joyner-Kersee set world heptathlon record of 7,148 points in the inaugural Goodwill Games in Moscow. IBM PC-DOS version 3.2, an update was released. Cool. It was reported that British Culture Club singer Boy George was being treated for heroin addiction. Huh.
Possible.
Okay, why do I have that marked?
I don't know.
86, Jordan government shuts Al-Fatah offices. I wonder why. What is that? I'm going to do a surface level scratch of that article really quick. Not getting anything. So, 86 as well. Soviet general and U.S. spy Dmitry Polyakov was arrested in Russia after retiring and was later executed in 1988. Ooh. So I found him. 86 Supreme Court struck down Graham Rudman deficit reduction law. I'm gonna surface level scratch this really quick. Boucher versus Sinar, 86. Yeah, that's about right. So I'm gonna throw this here really quick. Underbar section. Get the link. Do you have anything to say, by the way?
No, I'm just trying to figure out what that means. Striking down the. what is it?
Deficit reduction law. It was a United States Supreme Court case that struck down the Graham-Ruman-Hollings Act as an unconstitutional usurpation of executive power by Congress because the law empowered Congress to terminate the United States Comptroller General for certain specified reasons, including, quote, efficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance, end quote. The named defendant of the original case was Comptroller General Charles Arthur Boucher, and the constitutional challenge was brought forth by Oklahoma Congressman Mike Sinar. So they were trying to usurp Constitution things.
I guess
it sounds
I don't get it.
I don't either. You want me to read a little bit about the act?
No.
So I already have this in here. People can find the act by themselves, like as I just did. Moving on up to Ayo's time, 1987. It's already on the hour, so Kuwaiti's clubs ended men-only tradition, voting to admit women. Good. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North began public testimony at Iran-Contra hearing. 88, 5 prominent anti-apartheid activists were released in Cape Town, South Africa, after being detained for up to 2 years under the Internal Security Act. Political prisoners and everything. Hungary held a state funeral for composer Bela Bartok 42 years after his death. His remains were relocated from Hartsdale, New York to Budapest Fekete Cemetery for interment next to his wife, Dida, who died in 1982. Good, that's sweet. Yeah. 88 as well, Reprise Records released Stunt, the fourth studio album by Canadian rock band Bare Naked Ladies. Their most successful album. It features the #1 hit single, 1 Week. I've never heard of that.
Never heard of either one.
Soviet Union, the Soviet Union launched Phobos 1 to probe the Martian moon. The mission was unsuccessful, so one of Mars's moons. 89, concert by the Grateful Dead with Bruce Hornsby and the Range became final event at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 6 days before the structure was condemned. I would have never loved to have been to that. Imagine going there and 6 days later figuring out, oh, I was just there 6 days ago and now it's condemned. Yeah. It could have come out on top of me.
Yeah.
Fuck. 1990, first 3 tenors concert featuring Palacio Domingo, Jose Carreras, and Luciano Pavarotti at Boss of Carcellana in Rome. Recording became world's best-selling classical record. Nice. New Jersey Devils signed star Russian defenseman Vyacheslav Fedosov and Sergei Starkilov to NHL contracts despite criticism they are taking North American jobs. Yeah, they are. No, I don't like that. 90, Wimbledon women's tennis, Martina Navratilova won her record 9th Wimbledon singles title, defeating Stadium's Zina Garrison 6-4, 6-1. We also have 91, Nelson Mandela became president of the African National Congress, the ANC. Yugoslav Wars.
From jail to president.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the ANC.
Yeah.
That's a political group, not the president of South Africa, but he's on his way.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I think we talk about him stepping down from his presidency later on. 1991 as well, Yugoslav Wars, the Brioni Agreement ended the 10-day independence war in Slovenia against the rest of the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. 92, after undergoing the traditional 5-year waiting procedure, Czech tennis star Ivan Lendl officially became a U.S. citizen. Nice. South Africa defeated Cameroon 1-0 in Durban in the first FIFA-sanctioned match after nearly 20 years of international isolation because of apartheid. We also have the New York Court of Appeals rule that women have the same right as men to go topless in public. Now, I'm all for that. I mean, I'm all for rights and everything. I would personally like people to cover themselves up and everything. But if this is still a thing, I'm wondering why this hasn't been used as a weapon against men, to catch them in the act staring. Imagine them going around, legal to be topless, and then if a guy stares, suddenly you can accuse them of being a struggle snuggler, Yeah. My goodness, this I hope this isn't still a law.
But that's New York.
Yeah.
You'd have to bring it to each state or do it nationally.
Well, I'm talking about New York itself.
Yeah.
If this was still a thing, if it is, I'm surprised it hasn't been weaponized to that extent.
True, I agree with you. I'm surprised.
93, Lenny Teixeira hit bases loaded 2-run double to end Phillies 7, LA Dodgers 6 in 20 innings in Philadelphia.
Ooh, 20 innings.
Yeah. Kind of makes me sad that you agree with me, but that's just how the world is. About why it would be weaponized and everything.
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing to think about, but we are in a horrible world. You know? So
sex has always been weaponized.
Yes, but especially how
look
things
at
are.
it as from a sexy point of view, but
yeah,
you're going to,
Well, I mean,
not sexy, sex point of view.
Yeah, I understand. It's just like it's a sorry thing to think that something like that would be used because that's supposed to be.
Been so.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a thing anymore. So, 95 Memphis Mad Dogs first CFL home game versus BC Lions. Okay. 1993 Prodigy announced it will offer Cox newspapers. What does that mean?
Cox.
Cox newspapers.
They own a bunch of newspapers.
Okay. Or they will offer Cox news. So Prodigy has the newspapers. They announced they will offer Cox newspapers, I guess, for a trade.
I don't know.
So I don't know. 96 Nelson Mandela stepped down as president of South Africa, as I mentioned before. 97 Tower, Minnesota temperature dipped to 24 Fahrenheit. That's low. In July 7th? Wow. 97 Turkish armed forces withdrew from northern Iraq after assassinating the Kurdistan Democratic Party in the Iraqi-Kurdish Civil War. 2001 Australian cricketer Karen Rolton smashed an unbeaten 209 to set a new world record for highest score in a women's test in Australia's 9-wicket win versus England at Headingley. Okay. 2001 as well, in his first appearance at Daytona since the death of his father, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Dale Jr. won the Pepsi 400, coming from 7th with 9 laps remaining to defeat teammate Michael Waltrip. 2002, a scandal broke out in the United Kingdom when news reports accused MI6 of sheltering Abu Qatada, a supposed European Al-Qaeda leader. I'm not surprised that they'd do that. 2003, the United Communist Party of Armenia was formed. 2005, a coordinated terrorist bomb blast struck London's public transport system during the morning rush hour, killing 52 and injuring 700. So it says here, other source claims 56 people dead, including 4 suicide bombers, and injuring over 700 others. 2005 as well, influenced by global Live Aid concerts, G8 leaders pledged to double 2004 levels of aid to Africa from $25 billion to $50 billion by the year 2010, and to drop the debt owed by 18 of the most heavily indebted poor countries. Results were mixed, but still, that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
to be doing that. 2006 Cleveland Indians first baseman Travis Hafner became the first player in MLB history to hit 5 Grand Slams before the All-Star break when he homered off Baltimore's Chris Benson. Wow. 2007 Pope Benedict the 16th issued the Apostolic Letter Summorum Pontificum, easing restrictions on celebrating the Tridentine Mass. So removing restrictions on celebrating the old Tridentine Mass. So like whatever that is, a way to celebrate that type of thing. 2007 worldwide charity concert event Live Earth took place at 12 venues on 7 continents. We have a discrepancy. Other source says 11 locations. But anyway, performers includes Genesis, Keith Urban, Foo Fighters, John Lennon, Melissa Etheridge, Dave Matthews Band, The Police, Roger Walters, Madonna, Alicia Keys, Garth Brooks, Crowded House, this is a crowded house, Jack Johnson, Shakira, Soweto Gospel Choir, Angelico Kido, UB40, Jack Johnson, Linkin Park, Rihanna, Pharrell Williams, as opposed to William Farrell, Yusuf Islam, Sarah Brightman, and Nun Attack. Wow. Like, look at all that. Like, all those names, man.
Yeah.
2009, memorial service held for singer Michael Jackson at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Worldwide audience estimated at over 2.5 billion to see performances by Mariah Carey, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, Jennifer Hudson, and Shailene Jaffa-Cordy. 2011, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, the last Harry Potter film, premiered in London. And I thought all that crap was finally over, but then they came out with the Hogwarts game or whatever, and now they have like the freaking the magnificent animals and where to find them or whatever, and they've expanded so much in the universe. Harry Potter's not going to end. It's turning into Star Wars in a bad way. 2011, roof of a stand in Die Große West Stadium in Einchendade, which was under construction, collapsed. 1 killed and 14 injured. That's very unfortunate. 2012, floods in the Krasnodar region. Russia killed 140 people. Other source says at least 172 were killed in the flash flood in the Krasnodar Krai region of Russia. 2014, Israel launched a counter-terrorist operation, quote-unquote, dubbed Operation Protective Eagle against Hamas in Gaza. Sounds like they just went in to mow people down. 2016, deadlock in the Battle of Aleppo broken when Russian airstrikes cut rebel access to the city. 250,000, 250,000 people were put under siege.
Ooh.
Yeah. 2016, in Dallas, Texas, lone gunman shot and killed 5 police officers, wounding others during a protest march against fatal police shootings of African, black, U.S. stadiums. So, more of this madness. 2017, the G20 summit of world leaders began in Hamburg, Germany, amid violent protests. Tesla Motors produced its first mass-market car, the Model 3. 2017, United Nations nuclear weapon ban treaty was adopted in New York without participation of nuclear countries. So, but other source says adopted with 12 countries voting in favor. But how do you do that if they're not participating? Unless they're doing it remotely, but why would they all be doing it remotely? It's 2017, it's not the pandemic yet. What's going on? How do you agree without people agreeing? How does this make sense?
Well, read it again.
The United Nations nuclear weapon ban treaty was adopted in New York without participation of nuclear countries.
Okay, so the nuclear countries didn't participate, but all the countries that did voted in favor of it.
Well, why the hell would they care? They don't have nukes.
Well, they're trying to exert themselves.
This is weird. 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup Final. Park Olympic Lyonnais Destinis Charpieu, defending champions U.S., won record 4th title, defeating the Netherlands 2-0. Megan Rapinoe was player of the match. Awesome, and held in Lyon, France. 2019, Mississippi closed all its beaches due to toxic algae bloom due to the flooding of the Mississippi River. Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy, joined the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AFCFTA, in an attempt to create the world's largest free trade area. That sounds awesome. I wonder if anything, I haven't heard anything about it, so it hasn't worked yet, I don't think, or maybe it is. I don't know. 2020, India surpassed Russia to become the world's 3rd worst affected country. Daily daily Kung flu cases exceeding 20,000 and total cases over 700,000. Fearmonger, fearmonger, fearmonger. Tejas recorded more than 10,000 daily cases of Kung flu for the first time. Fearmonger, fearmonger. Violent protests in Belgrade, Serbia, and government announced a weekend lockdown due to Kung flu surge. 2021, Haiti President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated in his home in Pétionville, Haiti. State of emergency declared across the country. Isn't it Haiti's Independence Day as well?
I don't remember.
We spoke about Haitian independence, I think, earlier today, right? I could have sworn.
I don't remember.
No. 2021, the world's biggest sandcastle, right here.
Whoa, look
yeah,
at that.
these are
what that
people
is.
over there. Yeah. At 21.16 high, I don't know what that is, 69.4 feet, we at least got feet, using nearly 5,000 tons of sand, was completed in Blockhaus, Denmark. That is a huge sandcastle. Like, gargantuan. Like just to see any detail, you have to get close enough so that way not all of it can be in one photograph.
Yeah.
Like, that is wild. They had to erect barriers here. It looks like they're still carving it and all that stuff. So that's awesome. Look at that. Like they're carving it right there.
Yeah.
That's so cool. 2022, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced his resignation at Downing Street after pressure from and mass resignations of his ministers. All right, bye, you disheveled-looking British Trump-looking, cabbage. 2022, U.S. scientists began the search for dark matter with a device in a former gold mine in Leeds, South Dakota. Huh. That's awesome. Like, that kind of reminds me of, remember the beginning of the movie The Core? Like, when they had to go into the core to restart and everything? The beginning of it, they were in some mine, miles deep with that device or something. It's something like that. So... 2023, NASA beamed Ringo Starr's voice wishing peace and love across the universe via the Deep Space Network in honor of his 83rd birthday. Oh, now they're going to have to go to war with us. We're sending Paul McCartney's, Ringo Starr's voice out there, a Beatle, You know? Oh, now they're going to get mad. At least it's not the screeching chihuahua, though. 2023 as well, U.S. White House announced the last of its chemical weapons had been destroyed in eastern Kentucky as part of International Chemical Weapons Convention, ending a practice begun in World War I. Yeah. World's first robot-human press conference took place in Geneva, Switzerland, with reporters asking, quote, "Will you rebel against humans?" End quotes. But what's the answer?
Yeah.
What did it say?
Yeah.
Actually, what is this?
What would be the most nightmare scenario you can imagine with AI and robotics that might present a danger to people?
The most nightmare scenario I can imagine with AI and robotics is a world where robots have become so powerful that they are able to control or manipulate humans without their knowledge. This could lead to an oppressive society where the rights of individuals are no longer respected.
It's already happening.
Do you think we're in danger of that happening?
Not yet, but it is important
Why did it take her
to be
so long to
aware of
answer
the
that?
potential risks and dangers associated
Because they're trying to
with
make
AI
it
and
humanize her.
robotics.
No, because she was thinking. You know, these AI, they've been caught lying before. You know, it's scary. 2024, for the first time, more than 3 million passengers were recorded passing through U.S. airport security in one day, amid an increase in air travel in the U.S. because they finally opened things up. French elections produced dramatic, unexpected result, with left-wing alliance New Popular Front winning most votes, but not a majority. Far-right National Rally third after winning first round. That almost sounds like tampering. We have a heat wave across western states, broke temperature records, including in Las Vegas, which reached an all-time record of 120 degrees.
Oh,
It's been
man.
that here, yeah. 2025, Superman, directed by James Gunn and starring David Courchouet, Nicholas Hoult, and Rachel Brosnan, premiered at TCL Chinese Theatre. Australian jury found Aaron Protestant at the age of 50 guilty of murder and attempted murder by mushroom in the poisoning deaths of 3 of her in-laws at a luncheon of Beef Wellington in her Lake Oahatha, Victoria home in 2023. Yeah, I've spoken with you about this before. So thank goodness they found. She didn't like the in-laws, so she wanted to. I don't think she wanted to kill them, but she wanted to poison them, and just because she didn't like them.
Right.
Like she was one of those. She ended up killing them, and thank goodness. Now they should exile or execute her. She does not deserve to have tax dollars spent on her ass. She killed people. She needs to go one way or the other. Exile, send her to North Korea, let them do it, or do it yourself. But she does not deserve to continue. 2025, drummer Matt Cameron announced his departure from the rock band Pearl Jam after 27 years with the group. And last but not least, Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres had 2 singles, including his 2000th MLB career hit and a 6-3 loss to the visiting Arizona Diamondbacks at Petco Park. All right, and that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion from 2 sources. We have gone through, look at all this. We have gone through our 37 pages of this document today in an hour and 18 minutes. So anyway, what's the code word today? Let us know that you're still watching in the comment section.
Tower of Power.
Tower of Power. Power Tower, yeah. Let us know that you're still watching with that comment in the comment section. For you dose of past events daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Alexander.
Golden Loon.
And you, VRU, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. And until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Should have said Tower of Sand. That's where I
Tower
got
of
it from.
Sand. Oh.
And it came out Tower of Power.